The engines of the Sodor Railway were always busy. Thomas puffed at the beaches with happy vacationers, and Gordon proudly pulled the express. Gordon thought he was the strongest, fastest, and cleanest engine on the whole of the railway. But one thing bothered him. His firebox rattled as it cooled down at night. Gordon knew his rattle stopped the other engines from getting to sleep. That night, Gordon's firebox went click, clunk, click, clunk. Thomas and Percy started to chuckle. Pete Percy, huffed Gordon crossly. But secretly, he felt rather embarrassed. In the morning, Percy teased Gordon again. He puffed out loud. Gordon ignored Percy. He did not like being called names. He told himself. He wished the other engines would remember that. Later, Gordon pulled into Knapford Station. Laughed Emily. This made Gordon very cross indeed, especially because Diesel overheard. Oil Diesel? Gordon was very cross indeed. He decided it was time the other engines learned to treat him properly. So later at the water tower, he pulled up ahead of James. James was surprised. At Knapford, Percy had brought Gordon's coaches into number 1 platform. Said Gordon. Percy muttered to himself crossly. Later, Gordon told his friends to give a polite toot-toot whenever they saw him. Asked Thomas. He was very puzzled. Huffed Gordon grandly. And he steamed away. Wheezed Emily. Gordon steamed across the island. He felt very pleased with himself. He was sure the other engines would forget his clunk-click and treat him properly now. He saw Emily coming. He listened for her toot-toot. But Emily didn't toot at all. This made Gordon very cross. He was so cross that he didn't see the signal telling him to stop. And he didn't see the goods train ahead until it was too late. Luckily, no one was hurt. But Gordon came off the rails and he was covered in gooey red jelly. As Gordon waited to be put back on the rails, Percy arrived. Pete Percy. Then James puffed up. Joked James. Finally, Thomas arrived. Puffed Thomas cheekily. At last, Gordon was back on the rails. He felt very foolish indeed. Edward pushed him to the fitter's yard. Gordon had to stay at the fitter's yard for a long time. It was hard to get the jelly out. Emily and Henry took it in turns to pull the express for him. One evening at Tidmouth Sheds, Henry huffed. Agreed Emily. Pete Percy. Gordon knew the other engines were pulling the express for him. He thought. Finally, Gordon was as good as new. The fitters had even managed to fix the rattle in his firebox. That evening, Gordon had something to say. Teased James. Huffed Gordon. Said Thomas. All the other engines agreed. Now all the engines greet each other with a cheerful toot-toot for all the hard work they do on Sir Topham Hatt's railway.